Alright, so let's talk about something that is absolutely mind-blowing when you really break down the numbers. Are you getting tired, seriously exhausted of watching your bank account drain away in some overpriced city just to cover the bare minimum? We're talking about rent that costs more than a mortgage on a small castle, a simple coffee that costs $7, and a night out that requires you to take out a small personal loan. What if I told you, and I am being completely serious here, that for the price of a single month's rent in a place like New York or Los Angeles, you could live like royalty for an entire month, sometimes even longer, in a legitimate paradise? It's not a fantasy, it's not a clickbait title, it's the reality of strategic smart living in 2025. The entire landscape of work and life has been flipped on its head, and if you're not paying attention, you are leaving an incredible amount of money and opportunity on the table. The rise of remote work isn't just a trend, it's a fundamental economic shift that has unlocked the door to a lifestyle that was previously reserved for the ultra-wealthy. We're talking about secret destinations, hidden gems that haven't been overrun by tourists and inflated prices, where your hard-earned US dollars, euros, or whatever you have, stretch further than you could possibly imagine. A budget of just $1,000 a month isn't just for survival in these places, it's a budget for thriving. This is the new financial freedom. So, I want you to stick around for this entire video because we are going to dive deep, and I mean really deep, into the specifics. We're going to break down the costs, we're going to look at the numbers, and we are going to reveal 10 of these hidden travel spots where $1,000 a month is more than enough to cover your rent, all your food, your transportation, and even leave you with a little extra for some fun, some adventure, and maybe even a little bit of luxury. This isn't just about saving money. It's about radically upgrading your quality of life without radically increasing your spending. It's about being smarter with your cash so you can live better. And before we get into the very first location, which is an incredible one by the way, do me a quick favor and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It helps the channel out more than you know, and more importantly, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell turned on. Seriously, click it. You are not going to want to miss the future videos we have planned because every single one is designed to give you the insider knowledge you need to live a better life for a fraction of the cost. It's free, and it could literally save you thousands of dollars. Now let's get into it. Alright, kicking off our list is a place that feels like it was pulled straight out of a European storybook, but with a price tag that is almost too good to be true. I'm talking about Dalat, Vietnam. Forget everything you think you know about Southeast Asia because this city is completely different. It's nestled up in the cool central highlands, earning it the nickname, the City of Eternal Spring, which means you get to escape that oppressive tropical heat that you find in a lot of the region. The air is fresh, the landscape is dotted with pine forests, rolling hills, and French colonial villas that make you feel like you've been transported to a different continent. It's an absolutely stunning place. But let's talk about the numbers because that's what's really important here. The affordability in Dalat is, frankly, staggering. We're talking about renting a fully furnished one-bedroom apartment, not some tiny studio but a proper apartment, for as little as $250 to $300 a month. Let that sink in. In many major Western cities, that amount of money wouldn't even cover your utility bills for 2 weeks. Here, it gets you a comfortable place to live in a beautiful, safe, and incredibly charming city. This is the kind of financial leverage that completely changes the game for anyone looking to save money, invest more, or just reduce their financial stress significantly. And the savings don't stop with the rent, not by a long shot. Let's talk about food because you have to eat. You can enjoy a delicious steaming bowl of pho or a banh mi sandwich from a local street vendor for less than $2. A full sit-down meal at a local restaurant might set you back at most $4 or $5. This means your entire food budget for the month could easily come in under $200, and that's if you're eating out for almost every single meal. If you decide to cook at home, leveraging the incredibly cheap fresh produce from the local markets, your costs plummet even further. This is how you build wealth, by slashing your biggest expenses. So when you add it all up, the math becomes incredibly compelling. A $300 apartment, $200 for food, maybe $50 for utilities and a high-speed internet connection, and another $50 for local transportation like renting a scooter. You're sitting at a grand total of $600 for your core monthly expenses. That leaves you with $400 from your $1,000 budget. $400 of disposable income in a place this cheap is a massive amount of money. It's enough for weekend trips, exploring the surrounding waterfalls, coffee plantations, and just enjoying life to the absolute fullest without any financial anxiety. Now, one of the biggest concerns people have when they think about moving to a place like this is whether they'll be able to connect with people or find a community. Well, in Dalat, that is not a problem you are going to have. The city has a surprisingly robust and growing expat and digital nomad community. These aren't just tourists passing through. These are people who have recognized the incredible value proposition that Dalat offers and have decided to make it their home base. This means there's an established network of like-minded individuals, making it so much easier to build friendships, find social events, and get insider tips on the best spots in town. This community has also spurred the growth of an infrastructure that is perfectly tailored to the remote worker. You'll find an abundance of cozy cafes with a fantastic atmosphere, and more importantly, with fast and reliable Wi-Fi. We're not talking about spotty connections that drop every 10 minutes. We're talking about legitimate high-speed internet that allows you to take video calls, upload large files, and do whatever you need to do for your online business or remote job without any issues whatsoever. You can spend your entire day working from a beautiful cafe, sipping on world-class Vietnamese coffee for less than $1 a cup, and be more productive than you ever were in a sterile office cubicle. Beyond the work aspect, the charm of Dalat is something that really enhances your day-to-day quality of life. The city is known for its vibrant flower gardens, its beautiful Xuan Huang Lake right in the center of town, and a generally relaxed, unhurried pace of life that is a welcome antidote to the chaos of major metropolitan areas. You can spend your weekends hiking through pine forests, visiting stunning waterfalls like the Elephant Falls, or exploring the quirky and bizarre architecture of the Crazy House. There is always something new and interesting to see and do, and almost all of it is either free or incredibly cheap. Ultimately, Dalat represents the perfect trifecta for a budget-conscious traveler or digital nomad. First, you have the almost unbelievable affordability, which forms the foundation of your financial strategy. Second, you have the established expat-friendly atmosphere and the necessary infrastructure for remote work, which makes the transition seamless and enjoyable. And third, you have the unique charm and natural beauty of the location itself, which ensures that you're not just saving money, but you're also living in a place that is genuinely wonderful and enriching. It's a combination that is incredibly rare and powerful, and it's why Dalat is at the top of our list for 2025. Alright, for our second location we are heading to Central America to a city that is rapidly emerging as a serious contender for the title of Best Budget Digital Nomad Hotspot. I'm talking about Santa Ana, El Salvador. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but it's time to set aside any outdated perceptions you might have. The country has undergone a massive transformation, and cities like Santa Ana are now safer, more vibrant, and more welcoming than ever before. It's a place that offers an incredibly authentic cultural experience, combined with a cost of living that is, to put it mildly, exceptionally low. This is a ground floor opportunity. Let's get right into the numbers because they are truly impressive and tell the whole story. In Santa Ana, you can find a decent, clean and safe one-bedroom apartment for rent for somewhere between $150 and $250 a month. I want to repeat that because it sounds almost fictional, as low as $150. This isn't some shared room in a hostel, this is your own private space. This single fact dramatically lowers your financial baseline, freeing up an enormous portion of your income. When your housing, which is the single biggest expense for most people, costs less than a weekly grocery bill in the US, you are in an incredibly powerful financial position. Of course, the low costs extend far beyond just rent. The food scene in Santa Ana is a major highlight, and it is unbelievably cheap. We're talking about pupusas, the delicious national dish, which you can buy from street vendors for less than 50 cents each. You can eat a filling and delicious meal of 3 or 4 pupusas for under $2. A trip to the local market will reveal a bounty of fresh, tropical fruits and vegetables for pennies on the dollar. Your monthly food budget here could realistically be as low as $150, especially if you embrace the local cuisine and cook some of your own meals. It's both delicious and economically brilliant. So let's do a quick calculation of the core living costs in Santa Ana. Let's take the high end of rent at $250. Add $150 for a generous food budget, toss in another $50 for utilities, which includes your internet, and maybe $50 for transportation, since the city is very walkable and local buses are extremely cheap. You are looking at a total of $500 a month. 500. That leaves half of your $1,000 budget completely untouched. That's $500 for exploring, for saving, for investing, or for splurging on trips to the nearby volcanoes and stunning lakes. Living cheaply is one thing, but living well is another. Santa Ana delivers on both fronts. The city itself is beautiful, with a stunning neo-Gothic cathedral and a grand theater that serve as the heart of its historic center. There's a genuine, untouristed charm here. You're not just another face in a crowd of expats, you're living in a real Salvadoran city, interacting with locals, practicing your Spanish, and immersing yourself in a rich and authentic culture. This provides a level of personal growth and experience that you simply cannot put a price tag on, yet it comes as a free bonus to the incredible affordability. For the digital nomads watching, the infrastructure is catching up fast. While you might not find a dozen different co-working spaces like in a major hub, the number is growing. And more importantly, the quality of internet in private residences and cafes is surprisingly solid. El Salvador was the first country to make Bitcoin legal tender, a move that has attracted a wave of tech-savvy entrepreneurs, investors, and remote workers. This influx is driving improvements in infrastructure and creating a new modern energy in cities like Santa Ana, making it an exciting place to be for anyone working in the digital space. You're getting in before the crowds. The real magic of being based in Santa Ana, however, might be its location. It serves as the perfect launch pad for some of the most incredible natural adventures in Central America. You are just a short bus ride away from the Santa Ana volcano, which you can hike for breathtaking views of the turquoise crater lake inside. Nearby is the stunning Lake Coatepec, a massive volcanic caldera where you can swim, kayak, and relax. You also have the famous Ruta de las Flores, a winding route through charming mountain towns, coffee farms, and waterfalls. All of these world-class experiences are right at your doorstep and accessible for a ridiculously low cost. So when you look at the complete package, Santa Ana is an incredibly compelling option for 2025. You have a rock-bottom cost of living that is almost impossible to beat, allowing you to save a significant portion of your income. You have a rich, authentic cultural experience in a city that is on an upward trajectory, and you have unparalleled access to world-class outdoor adventures. It's a destination for someone who is a little more adventurous, someone who wants to get off the beaten path, and someone who wants to maximize every single dollar they earn to live an extraordinary life. It's smart, it's strategic, and it's an opportunity you shouldn't overlook. Alright, let's smash the like button for our next location because frankly this one is a complete game changer for anyone who thought living in Europe on a budget was impossible. We are talking about Bansko, Bulgaria. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Bulgaria? But trust me, this isn't just some random spot on the map. It's a legitimate, full-blown ski resort town nestled in the Pirin Mountains. Imagine waking up, grabbing your skis or snowboard, and hitting world-class slopes, all while your monthly expenses barely scratch the $1,000 mark. This is the kind of financial arbitrage that gets me excited. You're getting a premium lifestyle, think Aspen or Chamonix vibes for a fraction, and I mean a tiny fraction of the cost. It's absolutely unbelievable. The value proposition here is just off the charts. We're talking about a one-bedroom apartment right in the heart of this mountain paradise, potentially setting you back as little as $300 to $400 a month. Let's just pause and think about that. That's less than what many people pay for a parking spot in a major US city. Your utilities, including high-speed internet, which is crucial for any digital nomad, will likely add another $50 to $70. This leaves you with a massive chunk of your $1,000 budget for everything else. You can afford a ski pass for the entire season, which is incredibly cheap compared to Western resorts, and still have hundreds of dollars left over for food, entertainment, and maybe even some weekend trips to explore the rest of this beautiful country. But Bansko is so much more than just a winter destination. Once the snow melts, the entire region transforms into a lush green paradise for hikers, mountain bikers, and nature lovers. The Pirin National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is right on your doorstep, offering endless trails and breathtaking scenery. This dual-season appeal is a massive financial advantage. It means the town doesn't just shut down in the off-season, it simply changes its focus. This provides year-round activities and maintains a stable, low cost of living, unlike other resort towns where prices can fluctuate wildly depending on the time of year. For the financially savvy traveler, this stability is pure gold. And let's get into the community aspect because this is where Bansko truly shines for remote workers and entrepreneurs. it has cultivated one of the most vibrant and well-established digital nomad communities in all of Europe. There are multiple co-working spaces like the famous co-working Bansko that are more than just a desk and a Wi-Fi connection. They are thriving hubs for networking, collaboration, and social events. You can attend workshops, skill shares, and weekly meetups. This built-in community makes it incredibly easy to connect with like-minded individuals, which is often one of the biggest challenges of moving to a new place. It's an instant social life and professional network, all included in your incredibly low cost of living. So let's break down the numbers because that's what we're all here for. How does one actually live this incredible mountain lifestyle for under $1,000? It's simpler than you think. Your biggest expense, housing, is covered for around $350. Let's add another $60 for utilities. That brings our core living cost to just $410. Now for food. If you're smart and shop at the local markets, you can eat incredibly well for about $250 a month. We're talking fresh produce, local cheeses, and hearty Bulgarian cuisine. That leaves you with $340 for everything else. A full season ski pass can be found for around $400 if you buy it early, which breaks down to about $100 per month over the main season. This is an insane value. The co-working spaces are another key part of the financial puzzle. A monthly membership at a top-tier co-working space might cost you around $150. This isn't just an expense, it's an investment. It gives you a professional environment to work from, blazing fast internet, and access to that invaluable community. So even with a co-working membership, your total fixed costs are still incredibly manageable. You can easily fit this into the budget and still have plenty of cash left over. Compare that to trying to rent a hot desk in New York or London, where you'd be paying 3 or 4 times that amount, with none of the added lifestyle benefits of living in a mountain resort. And what about the day-to-day spending? This is where your money goes even further. A delicious, hearty meal at a local restaurant known as a mahana might only cost you $5 to $8, including a drink. A pint of local beer is often just over $1. You can enjoy a rich social life, go out for dinners, and explore the local culture without ever feeling the financial pinch. This ability to live a full, enjoyable life without constantly worrying about your bank account is the ultimate freedom. It's about maximizing your quality of life per dollar spent, and Bansko is an absolute masterclass in this principle. It's not about being cheap, it's about being smart with your money. Finally, think about the long-term financial implications. Living in a place like Bansko allows you to aggressively save and invest the money you're not spending on exorbitant rent and living costs back home. By slashing your monthly expenses from, say, $4,000 down to $1,000, you are freeing up $3,000 every single month. That's $36,000 a year that you can put towards your financial independence, whether it's investing in index funds, real estate, or your own business. This isn't just a travel hack, it's a wealth-building strategy. You're leveraging global cost of living differences to fast-track your journey to financial freedom, all while living an adventure-filled life in the mountains of Europe. It just doesn't get much better than that. Okay, moving on to our next destination, a place that is just dripping with history, culture, and unbelievable value. We are heading to Central America, to the city of Granada, Nicaragua. This is one of the oldest colonial cities in the Americas, and you can feel that history in every cobblestone street and colorful building. Imagine spending your days wandering through vibrant Spanish colonial architecture, relaxing in beautiful central plazas, and exploring the massive Lake Nicaragua right on your doorstep. This isn't some fleeting vacation, this is a lifestyle that is genuinely attainable for under $1,000 a month. It's the perfect blend of cultural immersion, natural beauty, and extreme cost-effectiveness. The affordability here is frankly staggering. You can find a beautiful furnished apartment, sometimes even within a historic colonial house with a central courtyard and a swimming pool, for as little as $300 to $500 a month. Let's just process that for a second. A home with character, history, and a pool for the price of a weekly grocery bill in some parts of the world. This low entry point for housing completely changes the financial equation. It means the majority of your budget is freed up for experiences, adventure, and enjoying everything this incredible region has to offer. It's a prime example of how you can live like royalty on a pauper's budget if you just know where to look. Beyond the city itself, Granada is an adventure hub. It's situated on the shores of Lake Nicaragua, the largest lake in Central America, which is home to hundreds of small islands, or isletas, that you can explore by kayak or boat. Just outside the city looms the impressive Mombacho volcano, where you can hike through cloud forests and even go ziplining. This proximity to such diverse natural wonders is a huge part of Granada's appeal. You're not just confined to a city, you have an entire playground of lakes, volcanoes, and jungles to explore, and most of these activities are incredibly cheap, costing just a few dollars for a day of adventure. The lifestyle in Granada is laid back and enchanting. The pace is slower, encouraging you to savor the moment. You can spend your mornings working from a cafe overlooking the main square, your afternoons exploring local markets or taking a Spanish class, and your evenings enjoying a delicious meal and live music. The local food is both delicious and incredibly inexpensive. A comida corriente, a typical lunch plate with meat, rice, beans and salad, will only set you back about $3. This low-cost, high-quality lifestyle makes it an ideal spot for anyone looking to escape the rat race, reduce their financial stress, and focus on what truly matters, all while being immersed in a rich and welcoming culture. Alright, let's crunch the numbers and see how the $1,000 a month budget works in Granada. It's not just possible, it's comfortable. Let's take a higher-end estimate for a nice, furnished one-bedroom apartment with a shared pool in a good location, and budget $450. That's our biggest single expense. Utilities, including electricity for air conditioning, water, and high-speed internet, will add approximately $80 to that. So for our primary living costs, we are sitting at a grand total of just $530. This is for a high quality of life, not just scraping by. This leaves a very healthy $470 for everything else, which in Nicaragua is a substantial amount of money. Now let's talk about food and daily expenses. The cost of food in Granada is exceptionally low, especially if you take advantage of the local markets. You can easily eat a healthy and varied diet for around $200 a month. This includes buying fresh tropical fruits, vegetables, and local staples. If you enjoy eating out, you can do so frequently without breaking the bank. A full dinner at a nice restaurant might cost you $10, while a meal at a local spot will be closer to $3 or $4. A local beer like a Tona or a Victoria Classica will cost you about $1. You can have a very active social life on a budget of just $10 to $15 a day, easily fitting within that remaining $470. This budget also allows for plenty of adventure and exploration. A weekend trip to the nearby surf town of San Juan del Sur or the volcanic island of Ometepe is completely within reach. Bus travel in Nicaragua is ridiculously cheap, often costing just a few dollars to go between cities. A day trip to hike a volcano or kayak through the isletas might cost you $20 or $30, including transportation and guides. You can budget $100 a month specifically for these kinds of excursions and still have plenty of money left over for daily life. It's this combination of low fixed costs and low-cost activities that makes Granada such a financial powerhouse for travelers. Ultimately, living in Granada is about optimizing your life for happiness and financial efficiency. By choosing a location with a low cost of living, you are buying yourself time and freedom. You're reducing the pressure to earn a high income, and instead, focusing on building a life that you genuinely enjoy. The money you save can be reinvested, allowing your wealth to compound while you're busy learning Spanish, hiking volcanoes and soaking in the culture. It's a strategic life choice that pays dividends in both experiences and financial growth. Granada isn't just a cheap place to live, it's a smart place to invest in your own well-being and financial future. For our fifth location, we're heading to the Himalayas. But don't worry, you don't need to be an expert mountaineer to live here. We're talking about Pokhara, Nepal. This city is legendary among trekkers and adventurers as the gateway to the Annapurna mountain range, but it's so much more than just a base camp. It's a serene, spiritually charged city nestled on the shores of the beautiful Fiwa Lake, with the stunning snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas serving as a constant, breathtaking backdrop. The fact that you can live in a place this epic, this profoundly beautiful, for well under $1,000 a month is, quite frankly, one of the best life hacks on the planet. The affordability here is on another level entirely. We are talking about South Asian prices, combined with world-class natural beauty. You can rent a simple but comfortable apartment with a view of the lake or the mountains for as little as $150 to $250 a month. Yes, you heard that correctly. Your monthly rent could be less than a single night in a mediocre hotel in many Western cities. This ridiculously low cost of housing is the foundation of your sub-$1,000 budget. It fundamentally alters what is possible, freeing up almost your entire income for food, activities, and savings. It's an economic cheat code for anyone who values experiences over expensive material possessions. The adventure opportunities in and around Pokhara are endless and accessible to everyone, not just hardcore trekkers. You can go paragliding over the lake with some of the most reliable thermal conditions in the world. You can go boating on Fiwa Lake and visit the Tal Barahi Temple located on an island in the middle. You can take short day hikes to places like the World Peace Pagoda for panoramic views, or go whitewater rafting on the nearby rivers. And of course, if you are into trekking, you have some of the world's most famous trails, like the Annapurna Circuit and Poon Hill, starting right from your doorstep. The sheer density of world-class adventure is unmatched, but there's also a deeply spiritual and tranquil side to Pokhara. The city has a relaxed, almost meditative vibe. It's a place where you can find numerous yoga studios, meditation centers, and wellness retreats. The pace of life is slow and intentional. You can spend your days reading by the lake, practicing yoga as the sun rises over the mountains, and enjoying healthy, organic food. This makes it an ideal location for anyone looking to de-stress, focus on their well-being, or work on a creative project. It's a place that nourishes both the body and the soul, all while being incredibly gentle on your wallet. So, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the finances. How do you live in this Himalayan paradise for less than $1,000 a month? It's almost laughably easy. Let's budget on the high side for a decent one-bedroom apartment and say it costs $250. Utilities including Wi-Fi, which is surprisingly decent in the main tourist areas, will be around $40 a month. This brings your total for housing and utilities to just $290. Let that sink in. Your core survival costs are less than $300. This leaves you with over $700, which in Nepal is a small fortune, and gives you an immense amount of freedom and flexibility in how you live your life. Food is another area where your money stretches incredibly far. You can eat like a king for about $150 to $200 a month. A plate of dal bhat, the national dish of rice, lentils, and vegetables, is not only delicious and filling but will also only cost you about $2, and it often comes with free refills. You can eat out for almost every meal and still struggle to spend more than $8 a day. The lakeside area of Pokhara has a huge variety of restaurants, from traditional Nepali food to Western-style cafes, so you'll never get bored. This low cost of food means you can be very social and generous without ever worrying about the bill. With so much money left over in your budget, you can fully embrace the adventure lifestyle. A tandem paragliding flight might cost around $50. Renting a boat on the lake for an hour is just a few dollars. Even multi-day treks can be done on a budget if you go with a local guide or independently, with daily costs on the trail being as low as $25 to $30 for food and lodging in tea houses. You can afford to do a major adventure activity every single month and still have hundreds of dollars left over. This is the definition of a high-quality, experience-rich life that is completely decoupled from high expenses. Finally, the financial runway this provides is enormous. Living in Pokhara for a year could cost you as little as $8,000 to $10,000. For a remote worker earning a Western salary, this is an incredible opportunity to save an unprecedented amount of money. Imagine banking 80 or 90% of your income every single month. You could reach your financial independence number in just a few years. This isn't just about cheap travel, it's a strategic financial move. You're leveraging global economics to build wealth rapidly, all while living in one of the most scenically spectacular and spiritually enriching places on the entire planet. It's the ultimate win-win scenario. Alright, let's talk about our sixth spot, and this one is an absolute hidden gem that perfectly blends a relaxed vibe with incredible value. I'm talking about Kampot, Cambodia. Now, when you think of Cambodia, your mind might jump straight to Angkor Wat, but let me tell you, there's a whole other side to this country that's just waiting to be discovered by savvy travelers and digital nomads. Kampot is this sleepy little riverside town that has managed to hold on to its colonial French charm, and what you get is this unique mix of Southeast Asian culture and European architecture. It's the kind of place where you can genuinely slow down, but without sacrificing the infrastructure you need to get work done, making it a fantastic option for anyone looking to live well on a budget. The real heart of Kampot is its river, the Prek Twek Chu. Life here really revolves around the water. You'll see local fishing boats chugging along, kids splashing in the shallows, and a whole row of riverside guest houses and restaurants offering stunning sunset views. And the best part? Enjoying this scenery doesn't cost you a fortune. You can rent a kayak for a few dollars and paddle for hours, or just grab a $5 meal and a 50-cent beer and watch the world go by. It's this accessibility to simple, affordable pleasures that makes Kampot stand out. It's not about flashy tourist traps. It's about finding joy in the tranquil day-to-day rhythm of a place that feels untouched by the frantic pace of modern life. Now let's get into the numbers, because you know that's what we're all here for. How does Kampot stack up for that $1,000 a month budget? Honestly, it blows it out of the water. You can find a decent one-bedroom apartment, maybe a little outside the main town center but still easily accessible, for as little as $150 to $250 a month. If you want to be right on the river, or in a more modern building with air conditioning, you might be looking at closer to $300, but that's still an incredible deal. Utilities like electricity and water are ridiculously cheap, maybe adding another $30 to $50 to your monthly bills depending on how much you use that AC. This leaves you with an enormous chunk of your budget for everything else. The cost of living extends beyond just rent. Food is where you can really save. Eating like a local at the street food stalls or the central market means you can get a delicious and filling meal for $1 or $2. I'm talking about classic Khmer dishes like fish amok or beef lok lok. Even if you want to frequent the more Western-style cafes and restaurants that cater to expats, you'll find that a nice meal will rarely set you back more than $5 to $8. Transportation is another area of savings. Most people get around on a scooter, which you can rent for about $50 a month, or a bicycle. Forget about expensive Ubers or taxis. Here, your own two wheels are all you need to explore. But Kampot isn't just a pretty place to relax. It has a legitimate claim to fame that foodies will absolutely love. This region is world-renowned for producing some of the finest pepper on the planet. Seriously, Kampot pepper is a protected geographical indication, just like Champagne in France. You can actually visit the pepper plantations like La Plantation, and see how this spice is grown, harvested, and processed. It's a fascinating look into the local economy and culture, and it adds another layer to your experience. The pepper here isn't just black. They have red, white, and green varieties, each with a unique flavor profile. And you'll find it used in everything from savory dishes to even ice cream. Beyond the pepper farms, the surrounding countryside offers a ton of opportunities for low-cost adventure. Just a short scooter ride away is Bokhara National Park, an old French colonial hill station with abandoned buildings, incredible views, and even a giant casino. It's an eerie but beautiful place to explore for a day. You can also venture into the nearby caves, go trekking in the jungle, or take a boat trip to the coastal town of Kep, famous for its fresh crab market. All of these activities are either free or extremely cheap, meaning you can have a rich and varied lifestyle without ever feeling like you're pinching pennies. This is what makes a location truly sustainable for long-term living. Now, for the digital nomads watching, you're probably thinking, this all sounds great, Graham, but what about the Wi-Fi? And that is a totally valid question. I wouldn't recommend a place if you couldn't get your work done. The good news is that Kampot has surprisingly decent internet. Most guest houses, cafes, and even some of the more modern apartment rentals are equipped with reliable Wi-Fi that's more than capable of handling video calls, uploads, and all your daily tasks. There isn't a huge co-working scene like in other major hubs, but places like the Magic Sponge or Epic Arts Cafe offer a great environment to work from, with good coffee and a community feel. So, when you put it all together, Kampot emerges as a top-tier contender. You have incredibly low living costs with rent as low as $150. You have a unique local culture centered around its famous pepper and beautiful river. You have ample opportunities for adventure and exploration right on your doorstep. And you have the necessary infrastructure like reliable internet to maintain a remote career. It's a place that forces you to slow down and appreciate the smaller things in life, all while your savings account continues to grow. For anyone looking for a truly authentic and affordable Southeast Asian experience in 2025, Kampot, Cambodia, should be right at the top of your list. Okay, moving on to our 7th destination, we're heading over to South America to a city that is consistently ranked as one of the best places in the world to retire, and for good reason. I'm talking about Cuenca, Ecuador. Now, don't let the retirement label fool you. This city is vibrant, full of culture, and offers an incredibly high quality of life for a fraction of the cost you'd pay in the US or Europe. It's often called the Athens of Ecuador because of its stunning colonial architecture, its rich intellectual history, and its thriving art scene. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and just walking through the cobblestone streets of the El Centro Historic District feels like stepping back in time. What immediately strikes you about Cuenca is its beauty. The city is nestled in the Andes Mountains, so you're surrounded by these gorgeous green hills. 4 rivers run through the city, and the parks and riverbanks are meticulously maintained, providing beautiful public spaces for everyone to enjoy. The architecture is a breathtaking mix of Spanish colonial buildings with ornate balconies, grand churches, and open plazas. But it's not a museum piece, it's a living, breathing city. You'll find modern cafes, art galleries, and boutique shops tucked into these historic buildings. It's a perfect blend of old-world charm and modern convenience, which is a huge draw for expats and digital nomads alike. Let's break down the budget, because this is where Cuenca really shines. Even though it's a well-established expat haven, the cost of living remains remarkably low. You can easily find a modern, furnished, 2-bedroom apartment in a desirable neighborhood for around $400 to $500 a month. If you're willing to live a little further from the city center, or in a more traditional, unfurnished place, you could find something for as low as $300. This level of affordability for such a high-quality living space is almost unheard of. It means you can live very comfortably, not just scrape by on that $1,000 budget. This is a game-changer for people who want to save money without sacrificing their standard of living. Beyond rent, daily expenses are incredibly reasonable. A menú del día or almuerzo, which is a fixed-price lunch, will typically cost you between $2.50 and $4 and includes soup, a main course, a drink, and sometimes even a small dessert. It's a huge, delicious meal that will keep you full for hours. Groceries are also cheap, especially if you shop at the local mercados like Mercado 10 de Agosto, where you can buy fresh fruits, vegetables, and meats directly from the farmers. Public transportation is excellent, with a modern tram system and an extensive bus network. A single bus ride costs just 30 cents. This all adds up to significant savings, freeing up your cash for travel and other experiences. One of the biggest selling points for Cuenca, and something you can't really put a price on, is the weather. Because of its high altitude, about 8,400 feet or 2,560 meters, the city enjoys a year-round, spring-like climate. The temperature typically stays between 50 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit, or 10 to 21 degrees Celsius, all year long. There are no harsh winters and no scorching summers. You can walk around in a light jacket or sweater pretty much every day. This pleasant climate encourages an active outdoor lifestyle. People are always out walking along the rivers, relaxing in the parks, or enjoying a coffee at an outdoor cafe. This consistent, comfortable weather is a massive factor in the high quality of life here. Another huge advantage, especially for those moving from abroad, is the well-established and welcoming expat community. There are thousands of foreigners living in Cuenca, which means there's a built-in support network. You'll find social groups for every interest, from hiking and book clubs to Spanish-language exchange meetups. This makes the transition to living in a new country so much smoother. You don't have to figure everything out on your own. There are people who have been through it all before, and are more than happy to help you navigate everything from getting a visa to finding the best place to buy groceries. This sense of community can be invaluable. For remote workers, Cuenca is a fantastic choice. The infrastructure is solid. High-speed fiber optic internet is widely available and affordable, often costing around $30 to $40 a month for a reliable connection. There are also several co-working spaces like La Ofi or Sidi that offer great facilities and a chance to network with other professionals. The city operates on the US dollar, which simplifies finances for Americans and eliminates any worries about currency exchange rates and fluctuations. Ecuador is also in a convenient time zone for working with companies in North America, which is a practical consideration that many digital nomads need to think about. So to sum it up, Cuenca, Ecuador, offers an unbeatable package. You get to live in a beautiful, safe, and culturally rich UNESCO World Heritage city. The cost of living is incredibly low, allowing you to live a very comfortable life on $1,000 a month. The weather is perfect all year round, and there's a large, supportive expat community to help you settle in. The infrastructure is modern with fast internet and excellent public transport. It's a place where you can genuinely have it all: affordability, beauty, and a high quality of life. It's no wonder so many people have chosen to make it their home. Alright, for our 8th spot, we're heading to a place that I believe is one of the most vibrant and culturally rich destinations on the entire planet. We're going to Oaxaca, Mexico. And let me be clear, this isn't your typical touristy beach town. Oaxaca City, the capital of the state of the same name, is the absolute heart and soul of Mexican culture. It's a place that assaults your senses in the best way possible. The smell of mole simmering in the markets, the sounds of mariachi bands in the Zocalo, the sight of brightly colored colonial buildings and incredible street art. It's a city that feels alive, authentic, and deeply connected to its indigenous roots. The cultural richness here is simply staggering. Oaxaca is considered the culinary capital of Mexico, and that is not an exaggeration. This is the birthplace of mole, with 7 distinct varieties that are complex and incredibly delicious. It's also famous for tlayudas, which are like a massive Mexican pizza, and of course, mezcal. Exploring the food scene here is an adventure in itself, from the bustling Benito Juarez and 20 de Noviembre markets to world-class restaurants. And the best part is that you can eat like a king for very little money. A plate of 3 street tacos might cost you $1 or $2, and a full meal at a local eatery is just a few dollars more. Now, let's look at the cost of living, which is what makes Oaxaca a truly viable option for living on $1,000 a month. While it's become more popular with digital nomads, it remains significantly more affordable than other Mexican hotspots like Mexico City or Tulum. You can find a simple 1-bedroom apartment in a good neighborhood like Xalatlaco or Xochimilco for around $400 to $600 a month. These are charming, safe neighborhoods with cobblestone streets and a real community feel, all within walking distance of the city center. If you look a bit further out or opt for a studio, you can find places for even less, maybe closer to $350. Beyond rent, your daily costs are very manageable. As I mentioned, food is incredibly cheap, and if you're eating primarily at local markets and street stalls, your food budget could be as low as $200 a month. Utilities are also reasonable, with electricity, water, and gas likely costing around $40 to $60 a month, though this can go up if you use air conditioning heavily, which many places don't even have or need due to the temperate climate. Transportation within the city is mostly done on foot, as the center is very walkable, but local buses and colectivos are extremely cheap for longer distances. All in all, the numbers work out very favorably for a budget-conscious lifestyle. Oaxaca is more than just food, it's a hub for art and history. The city is filled with museums, art galleries, and workshops celebrating everything from pre-Hispanic artifacts to contemporary painting. You can visit the Museo de las Culturas de Oaxaca, housed in a stunning former monastery, to see treasures from the nearby Monte Alban archaeological site. The streets themselves are a gallery, with incredible murals and street art around every corner. There's also a strong tradition of artisanal crafts, including the famous alebrijes, brightly colored, fantastical carved wooden creatures, and the region's distinctive black pottery. There's always something new to see and discover. And you can't talk about Oaxaca without talking about Mezcal. This region is the heartland of Mezcal production, and visiting a small family-run palenque, or distillery, in the countryside, is an essential Oaxacan experience. You can learn about the entire process, from harvesting the agave plant to the distillation, and, of course, sample the different varieties. It's a tradition that's deeply embedded in the local culture and economy. This isn't just about drinking. It's about understanding the history, the craftsmanship, and the community that revolves around this iconic spirit. It provides a deeper connection to the place and its people. For the practical-minded digital nomads, Oaxaca delivers. The internet situation has improved dramatically in recent years. Fiber optic internet is now common in the city center and surrounding neighborhoods, offering fast and reliable connections suitable for any kind of remote work. There's also a growing number of excellent co-working spaces like Convivio and Selena, which provide not just a desk and good Wi-Fi, but also a built-in community of fellow remote workers and entrepreneurs. This makes it easy to stay productive and also to network and make new friends, which is a huge plus when you're in a new city. So when you look at the complete picture, Oaxaca offers an incredible value proposition. It's a city that is bursting with culture, art, and arguably the best food in all of Mexico. The cost of living is low enough to live comfortably, and even save money on a $1,000 monthly budget. The city is walkable, safe, and has a vibrant, creative energy. You have ancient ruins like Monte Alban just a short trip away, and a strong infrastructure for remote work. For anyone who craves an authentic, stimulating, and affordable place to live in 2025, Oaxaca, Mexico is, without a doubt, an absolutely phenomenal choice. Alright, let's talk about our 9th spot, and this one is a real hidden gem for anyone who dreams of ocean views without the millionaire price tag. We're heading to Sidi Ifni, Morocco. Now most people think of Marrakesh or Fez when Morocco comes up, But honestly, those places can get crowded and the hustle is real. Sidi Ifni, on the other hand, is this incredibly relaxed coastal town with stunning Spanish Art Deco architecture, painted in these beautiful shades of blue and white. It's perched on cliffs overlooking the Atlantic, and the sound of the waves is basically the town's soundtrack. The vibe here is completely different from the imperial cities. It's slower, more contemplative, and way cheaper. Imagine waking up, grabbing a mint tea for pennies and just watching the ocean. That's the Sidi Ifni lifestyle, and it's incredibly accessible. Financially speaking, Sidi Ifni is an absolute dream, and I don't say that lightly. Your biggest expense, housing, is almost laughably low. You can find a decent one-bedroom apartment, sometimes even with a small balcony or terrace looking out towards the water, for about $200 to $300 a month. Let that sink in. For the price of a few fancy dinners back home, you have your own place for a whole month in a scenic coastal town. This isn't some scam or a bait and switch. It's just the reality of a place that hasn't been completely overrun by mass tourism yet. This affordability frees up so much of your budget for everything else, allowing you to live comfortably, save money, or just enjoy the local culture without constantly checking your bank account. Now let's get into the day-to-day costs, because that's where the real savings compound. Food is incredibly inexpensive, especially if you embrace the local way of life. Shopping at the local souk or market is not only a cultural experience but a masterclass in frugality. You can fill your bags with fresh vegetables, fruits, bread, and spices for just a few dollars. A delicious tagine at a local no-frills restaurant might set you back $3 or $4. Coffee, tea, and fresh juices are all under $1. So, your monthly food budget could easily be kept under $200, and that's without even trying to be particularly frugal. It's about enjoying fresh, local produce and simple, delicious meals that cost next to nothing. The lifestyle here is built around simplicity and nature, which, as you know, are often free. The main attractions are the incredible beaches like Legzira Beach with its famous rock arches. You can spend entire days surfing, sunbathing, or just walking along the dramatic coastline without spending a dime. The town itself is perfect for wandering, discovering hidden alleyways and architectural details. The pace of life is so relaxed that you're encouraged to slow down. There isn't a huge pressure to be constantly doing expensive activities. Your entertainment becomes watching the sunset, chatting with friendly locals, and enjoying the sheer beauty of your surroundings. This is the kind of wealth that money can't always buy, but in Sidi Ifni, it comes with a very low price tag. For digital nomads, or honestly anyone who needs to stay connected, Sidi Ifni is surprisingly viable. While it's not a bustling tech hub, you can actually get reliable internet. You might need to be a bit more proactive, maybe investing in a mobile data plan as a backup, which is very affordable in Morocco. A 4G connection is generally strong enough for video calls, emails, and most online work. You won't find trendy co-working spaces on every corner, but what you will find is a quiet, distraction-free environment. Your office can be a cheap local cafe with a sea view or the balcony of your incredibly affordable apartment. The lack of constant hustle can be a massive productivity boost, letting you get your work done efficiently and then just step right out into paradise. The real draw of Sidi Ifni, beyond the low cost, is the unique blend of cultures. You have the strong Amazi or Berber heritage, the clear Spanish colonial influence in the architecture, and of course the overarching Moroccan identity. This creates a fascinating cultural tapestry that, honestly, feels distinct from anywhere else in the country. The people are known for being incredibly welcoming and laid back. There's a small but present community of European expats and long-term travelers, but it hasn't reached a point where it dominates the local culture. This means you get the benefit of an authentic experience while still having a few familiar faces around if you seek them out. It's the perfect balance for someone who wants to immerse themselves, not just observe from a bubble. Let's break down that $1,000 budget, because it's more than just possible here, it's comfortable. Let's say you get an apartment for $250. You budget $200 for groceries and eating out at local spots. Your utilities, including internet and a mobile plan, might come to $50. That leaves you with $500. $500 of discretionary income in a place this affordable is, honestly, a huge amount. You can use that for weekend trips to nearby towns, taking up surfing lessons, buying local crafts, or just putting it straight into your savings or investment account. This isn't a surviving on $1,000 scenario. It's a thriving on $1,000 scenario with plenty of room to spare. So, who is Sidi Ifni for? It's for the person who values peace and quiet over a wild nightlife. It's for the creative who needs inspiration and a low-cost base to focus on their work, whether that's writing, painting, or programming. It's for the ocean lover, the surfer, the beachcomber who wants to live by the sea without selling all their assets. It's a place to disconnect from the frantic pace of the modern world and reconnect with nature and a simpler way of living. If your idea of paradise involves dramatic cliffs, the sound of the ocean, and a cost of living that feels like a glitch in the system, then Sidi Ifni should be at the very top of your list for 2025. Okay, for our final destination, number 10, we are going completely off the beaten path to a place that almost no one is talking about, which is exactly why it's such an incredible opportunity. Welcome to Tarija, Bolivia. Forget everything you think you know about Bolivia, the high-altitude plains of the Altiplano, or the dense Amazon jungle. Tarija is completely different. It's known as the Bolivian Andalusia because of its Mediterranean-like climate, its laid-back vibe, and most importantly, its burgeoning wine country. Yes, you heard that right, Bolivia has a wine region, and Tarija is its heart, producing high-altitude wines that are starting to gain international attention. It's a city of plazas, parks, and a pace of life that is incredibly tranquil. From a financial perspective, Tarija is one of the most affordable places not just on this list but in all of South America. We're talking about a cost of living that is shockingly low, even by Bolivian standards. Rent for a modern, comfortable apartment in a safe, central neighborhood can be as low as $150 to $250 a month. I want you to really process that number. That's less than what many people spend on their weekly groceries. This extreme affordability in housing immediately sets you up for financial success. It means the bulk of your $1,000 budget is freed up for living an exceptionally high-quality life, not just scraping by. Let's talk about daily expenses because this is where it gets even better. The food scene in Tarija is fantastic and incredibly cheap. The Central Market, or Mercado Central, is a vibrant place where you can load up on fresh produce, meats and cheeses for pennies on the dollar. A massive lunch, a proper sit-down meal called an almuerzo, which includes soup, a main course, a dessert, and a drink, will typically cost you between $2 and $3. You can eat out for every single lunch and still spend less than $100 a month. A bottle of locally produced wine, which you can buy directly from the vineyards, can cost as little as $3 to $5. Your monthly food bill, combining groceries and frequent dining out, could easily stay below $150. The lifestyle in Tarija is centered around relaxation and simple pleasures. The main pastime is enjoying the city's beautiful, sunny weather. The locals, known as Chapacos, are famous for their hospitality and friendly nature. The city is clean, safe, and very walkable. You can spend your afternoons strolling through the main plaza, Plaza Luis de Fuentes, sipping coffee at a sidewalk cafe, or exploring the Paleontology Museum. The surrounding countryside offers endless opportunities for hiking, and of course, wine tasting. Visiting the local bodegas or wineries is a primary activity, and tours and tastings are exceptionally cheap, providing a world-class experience for a fraction of what you'd pay in Napa or Bordeaux. For those of you working remotely, Tarija presents a very calm and productive environment. Internet infrastructure has been improving steadily across Bolivia, and in Tarija, you can get a stable fiber optic connection sufficient for most digital nomad needs. It might not be the fastest in the world, but it's reliable enough for video conferencing, uploading files, and streaming. There aren't dedicated co-working spaces like in a major metropolis, but the cafe culture is strong. You can easily set up shop in a quiet cafe for the price of a coffee or two. The real benefit is the lack of distractions. It's a place where you can genuinely focus on your work in a stress-free setting. The appeal of Tarija lies in its undiscovered nature. This isn't a city that's been molded by tourism. It's an authentic slice of Bolivian life, but with a unique, almost European flair. You'll be one of the very few foreigners there, which allows for a deep, genuine immersion into the local culture. Learning some basic Spanish will go an incredibly long way here, and will open up a world of rich interactions with the warm and welcoming Chapaco people. It's a chance to experience South America in a way that is no longer possible in more popular destinations. You're not a tourist, you're part of the community. Let's do the math on that $1,000 budget one last time. Let's be generous and say you find a nice apartment for $200, we'll budget $150 for all your food, including eating out regularly. Utilities, including a solid internet plan and your phone, will be around $50. That brings your total essential monthly spending to just $400. This leaves you with a staggering $600 of disposable income. $600 in Tarija is a small fortune. You could hire a private Spanish tutor, take weekend trips to explore other parts of Bolivia, go on guided wine tours every single weekend, eat at the nicest restaurant in town whenever you want, and you would still have money left over to save and invest. So, who is Tarija for? It's for the adventurous soul who wants to be a pioneer, not a follower. It's for the wine enthusiast who wants to explore a new and exciting frontier of viticulture without the pretension or the price. It's for the remote worker or retiree seeking absolute tranquility, safety, and an impossibly low cost of living. It's for someone who wants to learn Spanish and immerse themselves in a warm and welcoming culture far from the tourist trail. If you want a life of sunshine, good wine, and financial freedom in a place that feels like a secret the rest of the world has yet to discover, Tarija, Bolivia, is waiting for you. So, who says paradise has to be expensive? Who says you need to be a millionaire to live by the ocean, or to wake up to mountain views every single morning? As we've seen, from the cliffside charm of Sidi Ifni in Morocco, to the secret wine valleys of Tarija, Bolivia, there are incredible places all over the world where you can live an amazing life. These aren't just vacation spots, these are places you can call home, all for less than $1,000 a month. It proves that a life of travel and financial freedom isn't just a dream reserved for the ultra-wealthy. It's a reality that's completely within your grasp right now, in 2025. The key is to look beyond the obvious. While everyone else is flocking to the same overpriced, over-touristed cities, the real opportunities, the real adventures are waiting in these hidden gems. From the cool highlands of Dalat, Vietnam, to the volcanic landscapes of Santa Ana, El Salvador, these destinations offer not just affordability but a richer, more authentic experience. They prove that your money can go so much further if you're willing to step off the beaten path. It's about being smart with your finances and creative with your geography. $1,000 a month can go a very, very long way if you just know where to look. I really hope this video has opened your eyes to some new possibilities and maybe even helped you find your next dream destination. If it has, do me a huge favor and smash that like button. It costs you nothing, it takes less than a second, and it tells the YouTube algorithm that this is the kind of content you want to see more of. It genuinely helps the channel out more than you know, and allows me to keep finding and sharing these incredible, affordable places with all of you. Your support is what makes all of this possible, so thank you. And finally, if you love finding hidden gems around the world and want to learn how to live a life of travel without breaking the bank, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. We have so many more secret spots and budget travel strategies to share with you. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.